Alright, congratulations for making it to the second part of my videos for this week. In this video, we will be talking about W-2 forms and then my expectations for the rest of the week and kind of what I expect from you and what assignments I expect from you. Alright, so now I'm going to be talking about Form W-2. This form is also known as a wage and tax statement. So an employer is actually required to send this form to you completed each year by January 31st. The reason why they have to have it into you by January 1st each year is that so that you have, ample time to file your taxes because you have to have them done by April 15th. If you notice, if you get one of these this year, it'll say, instead of 2020, it'll say 2019, and that's because tax documents are filed for the previous year. So for example, if you received, like I said, if you received a W-2 in the mail on January 2020 this year, it actually reflects your income for 2019. And the IRS will use your W-2 form to track each employee's tax obligation. So what kind of information is in a W-2? Well, it includes both state and federal sections since employees must file taxes on both levels. There are fields that provide the employer's information, including the company's EIN, which is the business's employer identification number. On the federal level. That's what's going to be in the section B here that I'm pointing to. The remaining fields mostly focus on the details of the employee's income from the previous year. Also in section C, you'll have your employer's name, address, and zip code. It's important too to note that you will receive a W-2 from an employer if you've earned at least $600 in a given year. If you haven't made more than $600, you probably won't receive a W-2. If more tax was withheld that the employee owes, you'll probably receive a refund when you file your taxes, and we'll talk about how to file your taxes in the coming weeks. However, if the income reported on an employee's taxes doesn't match the income reported on this W-2 form, the IRS may audit you. And you're required by law to report all salary, wage, and tip income, you'll see right here, even if that income is not reported on your W-2. So if there's an income that you earned that isn't on your W-2, you will need to report that to the IRS. In these next sections, I'm just going to kind of break down what all of these little boxes mean. Box A is going to be your social security number, and A through F really just include, your name, address of you, your employer, your social security number, your employer's EIN, and state ID number. Boxes 1 and 2 up here show your taxable income, including any wages, salary, tips, and bonuses, while box 2 shows how much your employer withheld from your pay in whatever year you're filing taxes in. And if you're filing taxes this year, that would be how much federal income tax was withheld in 2019. Box 3 will detail how much of your earnings were subject to Social Security tax. And box 4 is the amount of Social Security tax that was actually withheld from your employer. Box 5 and 6. Box 5 spells out how much of your pay is subject to Medicare tax, and box 6 will tell you how much was actually withheld. The employee portion of the Medicare tax is actually 1.45%, just fun fact for you. Box 7. This is if you had any tips. So these boxes, 7 and 8, will show how much you reported in tips. If you're like a server, this is where your tips would show up, or if you were a bartender. And also the allocated tips is how many tips your employer reported. Box 9, this box used to reflect a now defunct tax perk, so this is always left empty or boxed out like it is. And what I mean by defunct is a tax perk that no longer exists. Box 10 reports how much in dependent care benefits, if applicable, you received from your employer. So a lot of you won't have anything in box 10. Box 11, this box details how much deferred compensation you received from an employer. And deferred compensation is like a portion of an employee's compensation that is set aside to be paid at a later date. In most cases, taxes on this income are deferred until it is paid out. So this includes like retirement plans or stock option plans. 12A, box 12 details any deferred and other types of compensation and a single or double letter code that corresponds to each. So it might include, for example, contributions to a 401k plan or a retirement plan. So again, these are probably more than likely going to be blank for you when you receive a W-2. Box 13. Box 13 over here. This box has 3 sub-boxes designed to report pay that is not subject to federal income tax withholding. For example, if you participated in an employer-sponsored retirement plan again, or if you received like some sick pay through a third party, like an insurance policy, that would go into box 13. Again, probably not going to affect any of you. Box 14, this box allows an employer to report any other additional tax information that may not fit into the other sections of a W-2 form. A few examples would be if you have state disability insurance taxes withheld, or if you're part of a union, your union dues would go here. Boxes 15 through 20. These last 6 boxes on a W-2 all relate to state and local taxes, including how much of your pay is subject to these taxes and how much was withheld. So your employer state ID number is here. If your state has an income tax, how much that was withheld in the previous year will be in this box. When I lived in South Dakota, there was nothing that was ever in this box because they don't have a state income tax. But that is a W-2 in a nutshell. Okay, so just to end this video, I just want you to know what I expect of you this week, and that is to complete this activity that was shown at the beginning of the last video that I posted, which should not take you very long. Once you finish that, I'd like you to complete this Edpuzzle. It's a video about a W-4, which you should know a lot about a W-4 because I just went over it. So that shouldn't take you very long. And then the last thing is you are going to look over a W-4 that was filled out by a fictitious person. And first you're going to look it over. Okay, computer's being great. Look this form over and then answer these questions. Again, I will be on standby, so if you need anything at all, make sure you email, text, or call me. But there will be those 3 assignments that you will need to turn in by Sunday. So good luck. Have a great rest of your week.